In the next few minutes, I'm going to take you on a journey into the ancient world, into the myths and mysteries of Ishtar, one of the most powerful and fascinating goddesses in history. We'll explore who she was, the stories that made her legendary, and the incredible power she held, not just as a goddess of love and beauty, but also as a fierce warrior and ruler. Ishtar wasn't just one thing. She was desire and destruction, passion and war, tenderness and wrath, all in one. She challenged kings, defied gods, and even dared to descend into the underworld itself. So let's dive into her story, uncover her power, and see why Ishtar still captures imaginations thousands of years later. Let's get started. In the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, where gods ruled the heavens and earth trembled beneath their power, there was one goddess both feared and worshipped like no other. Her name was Ishtar, radiant goddess of love, war, and fertility. But her story is no simple tale of beauty and passion. It is one of divine power, death, and resurrection. This is the Epic of Ishtar. Ishtar was one of the most powerful deities in the Mesopotamian pantheon. Known to the Sumerians as Inanna, she was both giver and taker, the bringer of life and the harbinger of war. She ruled love, seduction, and desire, but she was no gentle goddess. Ishtar's love could be as destructive as it was passionate. Many lovers met tragic fates. From kings to gods, none were safe. Even the mighty hero Gilgamesh rejected her, fearing her wrath. But she was also a protector of life and fertility. Fields bloomed under her blessing. Armies won battles in her name. Temples to Ishtar rose across cities, where priestesses performed sacred rites to honor her dual nature. Lover and warrior, nurturer and destroyer. One of the most powerful and mysterious legends of Ishtar is her descent into the underworld, the realm of the dead. The story begins with Ishtar standing before the gates of Kur, the underworld ruled by her sister, the cold and merciless goddess Ereshkigal. Driven by pride, vengeance, or a deep desire to conquer even death itself, no one knows for certain, Ishtar demanded entry. But in Kur, none enter and return. At each of the 7 gates, the gatekeeper forced her to remove a piece of her royal clothing or jewelry, her crown, earrings, breastplate, robes. Until at the final gate, she stood exposed and vulnerable before her sister. Ereshkigal, filled with fury, struck Ishtar down and killed her. The world above began to wither. With Ishtar gone, no love was made, no crops grew, no new life was born. The balance of the world had shattered. The gods panicked. Without Ishtar, the earth was dying. So they sent a clever messenger, Namtar, with a plea for mercy. Finally, Ereshkigal relented, but not freely. She demanded a substitute to take Ishtar's place in the land of the dead. Ishtar was revived, rising again from the depths like the spring after winter. But she would not return alone. The price of her resurrection was steep. Once back on Earth, Ishtar sought someone to send in her place. She found her lover Tammuz, living in luxury, showing no mourning during her absence. Enraged, she chose him as the sacrifice. Tammuz was dragged to the underworld, and Ishtar's rage burned hot. But even goddesses can grieve. Her fury gave way to sorrow. She wept for him, and in her tears the gods took pity. They decreed that Tammuz would spend half the year in the underworld, and the other half reunited with Ishtar. His yearly death and return symbolized the changing seasons, the death of winter and the rebirth of spring. And thus, through passion and pain, the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth was born. The story of Ishtar is more than myth. It is a mirror of human emotion, the fierce power of love, the cruelty of vengeance, the sorrow of loss, and the hope of renewal. In her, we see both the storm and the sunshine, the battlefield and the lover's embrace. Ishtar remains an eternal symbol of the forces that shape us. wild, unpredictable, and divine. Ishtar is the ancient Mesopotamian goddess of love, beauty, war, and political power. Fiercely independent and unapologetically sensual, she embodies both creation and destruction. Worshipped as both a lover and a warrior, Ishtar defies traditional roles, commanding devotion and fear in equal measure. Her presence is passionate, untamed, and divine, a goddess who lives without compromise. She is the morning star and the lioness of battle, the lover whose embrace brings ecstasy and ruin. Ishtar walks between heaven and the underworld, wielding beauty as a weapon and war as her lover. Ishtar represents the untamed feminine, sensual, powerful, and complex. She's the goddess who owns her desires and isn't afraid to challenge the gods, or the world. Ishtar, known as Inanna in Sumerian culture, was worshipped across Mesopotamia as a multifaceted deity who ruled over love, fertility, war, and kingship. Her myths reflect her complex nature and central role in the spiritual and political life of the ancient Near East. Cloaked in starlight and crowned with the horns of divinity, Ishtar strides through blood and perfume, her eyes burning with passion and vengeance. She is the sacred paradox, tender and terrifying. If you'd like to explore more myths like this, hit subscribe and tell us whose story you want next. Ishtar's rivals, her lovers, or her legacy. If you've made it this far into the video, you're amazing. Thank you so much for watching. We really hope to see you in the next one. Don't forget to leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. If you have an ancient story you'd like us to bring to life in a short video, just let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the past.